The streets of Once Upon a Time in Mexico were filled with danger, corruption, and revenge. Yet for many members of the cast, real life turned out to be even harsher. Some stars endured a career-destroying scandal, while others fought life-threatening illnesses and sudden death. Their stories are far more dramatic than the movie itself. Let's revisit the cast right now, because you won't believe what happened to them. Antonio Banderas as El Mariachi. Antonio Banderas was born on August 10, 1960, in Malaga, Andalusia, Spain. At 43 years old, he played El Mariachi, the legendary guitar-playing gunslinger seeking justice and revenge in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. As the heart and soul of the trilogy, his charismatic performance gave the film its emotional weight and helped turn the character into one of modern cinema's most recognizable action heroes. Away from the screen, Banderas faced major personal struggles and life-changing disappointments. His childhood dream was to become a professional soccer player, but that ambition ended at age 14 after a serious broken leg injury. Years later, his personal life became the subject of intense media attention. He married actress Melanie Griffith in 1996, and together they became one of Hollywood's most famous couples. However, after 18 years of marriage, the relationship ended in a highly publicized divorce in 2014. Reports frequently linked the breakdown to years of pressure surrounding Griffith's battles with addiction and the strain that fame placed on family life. His career continued to flourish despite those setbacks. Banderas starred in major hits including Desperado, 1995, The Mask of Zorro, 1998, and the Puss in Boots franchise, where he voiced the beloved feline hero. In 2019, he earned some of the finest reviews of his career for Pain and Glory, winning the Best Actor award at the Cannes Film Festival and receiving an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. As of 2026, Antonio Banderas is 66 years old. His life changed dramatically in January 2017 when he suffered a serious heart attack that required the placement of 3 coronary stents. Banderas later described the experience as a wake-up call that transformed his outlook on life. Today, he remains active in film, theater, and business ventures while continuing to work on projects in both Spain and Hollywood. Salma Hayek as Carolina. Salma Hayek was born on September 2, 1966, in Coatzacoalcos, Veracruz, Mexico. At 37 years old, she played Carolina, the courageous bookstore owner and former love of El Mariachi, whose return connected the story to the earlier films in the trilogy. Although her screen time was limited, the character remained one of the emotional foundations of the entire saga. Hayek's journey to Hollywood was filled with obstacles that many stars never experience. After becoming a major television star in Mexico, she moved to the United States only to face constant rejection and discrimination. Studio executives frequently told her that Mexican actresses could only play maids, immigrants, or stereotypical supporting roles. Her greatest professional ordeal came during the production of Frida, 2002, a passion project she spent years trying to make. Hayek later revealed that producer Harvey Weinstein allegedly harassed, intimidated, and humiliated her throughout the process, repeatedly threatening to shut down the film and damage her career if she refused his demands. The experience caused severe emotional distress and left lasting psychological scars. Despite those challenges, Hayek emerged as one of the most influential Latina actresses in Hollywood history. Her portrayal of artist Frida Kahlo earned Academy Award, Golden Globe, and BAFTA nominations for Best Actress. She also starred in films such as Desperado, 1995, Frida, 2002, House of Gucci, 2021, and Marvel's Eternals, 2021. Beyond acting, she became a successful producer and advocate for women in the entertainment industry. As of 2026, Salma Hayek is 60 years old. She remains active in film and television while balancing her career with family life alongside her husband, French billionaire François-Henri Pinault, whom she married in 2009. More than 3 decades after arriving in Hollywood, she continues to be celebrated as a trailblazer who helped open doors for future generations of Latin American performers. Pedro Armendáriz Jr. as El Presidente. Pedro Armendáriz Jr. was born on April 6, 1940 in Mexico City, Mexico. At 63 years old, he played El Presidente, the president of Mexico whose government becomes entangled in the assassination plot and political turmoil at the center of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. His commanding presence brought authenticity and gravitas to the film's political storyline. For much of his life, Armendáriz lived under the shadow of a legendary surname. His father, Pedro Armendáriz, was one of the greatest stars of Mexico's golden age of cinema. Seeking his own identity, Pedro Jr. initially studied architecture rather than acting. Yet tragedy pulled him back toward the world his father had dominated. In 1963, his father took his own life after learning he had terminal cancer, a devastating loss that haunted Armendáriz Jr. for decades and remained one of the defining emotional wounds of his life. Despite that burden, he built an impressive career of his own, appearing in more than 140 films. International audiences recognized him from License to Kill, 1989, The Mask of Zorro, 1998, and numerous Mexican productions that made him one of the country's most respected character actors. Tragically, Armendáriz would face a fate similar to the one that took his father. He was diagnosed with eye cancer, and the disease eventually spread to his brain. Pedro Armendáriz Jr. died on December 26, 2011, at the age of 71 in New York City. His passing ended a distinguished career that had bridged both Mexican and international cinema for nearly 5 decades. Danny Trejo as Cucuy. Danny Trejo was born on May 16, 1944, in Los Angeles, California, USA. At 59 years old, he played Cucuy, a ruthless Mexican cartel enforcer and feared underworld gunman in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. His intimidating presence and real-life toughness made the character one of the film's most memorable villains. Trejo's life story is one of Hollywood's most remarkable redemption journeys. Introduced to drugs by his uncle at just 12 years old, he quickly became involved in crime and addiction. Throughout the 1960s, he spent years moving in and out of prisons, including notorious institutions such as San Quentin and Folsom, serving time for armed robbery and drug-related offenses. Survival behind bars often depended on fighting ability, and Trejo became a respected prison boxing champion. His turning point came after successfully overcoming addiction and dedicating himself to helping others do the same. Although Hollywood frequently typecast him as criminals, gangsters, and killers, Trejo built a career spanning hundreds of screen appearances. He became the star of Robert Rodriguez's Machete franchise and appeared in films such as From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996, Heat, 1995, and Con Air, 1997. Away from acting, he became known for community outreach work, mentoring recovering addicts and troubled youth. His extraordinary transformation from inmate to movie star made him a symbol of second chances. As of 2026, Danny Trejo is 82 years old. He remains active in film, television, business ventures, and charitable work. Often referred to as the actor with one of the highest on-screen death counts in Hollywood history, Trejo continues to inspire audiences with a life story far more dramatic than any role he has ever played. Johnny Depp as Sands. Johnny Depp was born on June 9, 1963 in Owensboro, Kentucky, USA. At 40 years old, he played Sands, the eccentric, manipulative, and unpredictable CIA agent whose schemes drive much of the chaos in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. With his dark humor, intelligence, and unforgettable personality, Sands became one of the film's standout characters. Behind Depp's success was a childhood marked by instability and emotional turmoil. His family moved more than 20 times during his youth, leaving him constantly uprooted and searching for a sense of belonging. He later spoke openly about his mother's volatile behavior and the emotional and physical abuse he experienced at home. By age 12, he had begun experimenting with drugs as a way of escaping his difficult circumstances. Those early struggles followed him throughout much of his life, even as he rose to international superstardom. The most damaging chapter of his adult life came through his relationship with actress Amber Heard. Their highly publicized divorce sparked years of legal battles and mutual accusations of domestic abuse that dominated headlines worldwide. The controversy severely damaged Depp's reputation and career, leading major studios such as Disney and Warner Brothers to distance themselves from him. He lost prominent roles, including future appearances in the Pirates of the Caribbean and Fantastic Beasts franchises. Although he won his defamation lawsuit in 2022, restoring much of his public image, the emotional, professional, and financial consequences of the scandal remained significant. As of 2026, Johnny Depp is 63 years old. He has gradually rebuilt his career through independent films, directing projects, music performances, and selective acting roles. Best known for iconic performances in Pirates of the Caribbean, Edward Scissorhands, 1990, and Sweeney Todd, 2007. He remains one of the most recognizable and controversial figures in modern Hollywood history. Mickey Rourke as Billy. Mickey Rourke was born on September 16, 1952, in Schenectady, New York, USA. At 51 years old, he played Billy, a mysterious FBI agent whose true loyalties remained hidden throughout Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Though appearing in only a handful of scenes, Billy's actions played an important role in the film's web of betrayal and deception. Behind that tough screen image was a man carrying deep emotional scars. After his parents separated, Rourke grew up with a violent stepfather whose abuse left a lasting impact on him. Success arrived in the 1980s through films like 9½ Weeks and Angel Heart, but his volatile behavior, addiction problems, and conflicts with directors gradually pushed Hollywood away. In 1991, he left acting to pursue professional boxing, a decision that resulted in multiple facial injuries, reconstructive surgeries, and a severe identity crisis. Despite those setbacks, Rourke eventually staged an extraordinary comeback. He impressed audiences in Sin City, 2005, Iron Man 2, 2010, and most notably The Wrestler, 2008. That performance earned him a Golden Globe, a BAFTA Award, and an Academy Award nomination, restoring the respect many believed he had permanently lost. As of 2026, Mickey Rourke is 74 years old. While he works less frequently than in previous decades, he remains one of Hollywood's most fascinating comeback stories, having survived addiction, career collapse, physical trauma, and personal heartbreak to rebuild his life. Willem Dafoe as Barillo. Willem Dafoe was born on July 22, 1955, in Appleton, Wisconsin, USA. At 48 years old, he played Barillo, the ruthless drug kingpin whose hunger for power made him one of the most dangerous men in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. His cold and calculating performance helped create one of the film's most memorable villains. The path to success was far from straightforward. Growing up as the seventh of 8 children, Dafoe often felt isolated while his busy parents worked long hours in healthcare. His rebellious nature surfaced during college, where involvement in experimental theater eventually led to his expulsion from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. That setback pushed him toward alternative theater and a less conventional career path. As his film career developed, his distinctive facial features often led casting directors to offer him villains, criminals, or unstable characters, forcing him to work harder to demonstrate his range as an actor. Over time, Dafoe transformed that challenge into an advantage. He delivered acclaimed performances in Platoon, 1986, Spider-Man, 2002, and The Lighthouse, 2019, becoming one of the industry's most respected performers. His willingness to move between blockbuster films and independent productions earned him admiration from both audiences and critics. As of 2026, Willem Dafoe is 71 years old. He remains highly active in film and continues to take on challenging roles around the world. With 4 Academy Award nominations and decades of acclaimed performances behind him, Dafoe has firmly established himself as one of the most accomplished character actors of his generation. Eva Mendes as Ayadrez. Eva Mendes was born on March 5, 1974, in Miami, Florida, USA. At 29 years old, she played Ayadrez, the intelligent and mysterious AFN operative who becomes deeply involved in the dangerous political conspiracy at the center of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Her beauty, confidence, and loyalty made Ayadrez one of the film's most memorable female characters. Behind her glamorous image was a childhood shaped by hardship. Raised by her single mother after her parents' separation, Mendes grew up in a struggling Cuban immigrant family and often witnessed financial difficulties firsthand. She once revealed that she dreamed of becoming a nun because she believed nuns did not need money and could dedicate their lives to helping the poor. Years later, after achieving fame through films such as Training Day and Too Fast, Too Furious, the pressure of Hollywood took a heavy toll. In 2008, she entered Utah's Cirque Lodge Rehabilitation Center to address emotional struggles and substance-related issues. After beginning a relationship with actor Ryan Gosling and starting a family, Mendes made the surprising decision to step away from acting, choosing motherhood and business ventures over continued Hollywood success. Even with a relatively short acting career compared to many stars, she left a lasting mark on audiences. Mendes appeared in successful films including Training Day, 2001, Too Fast, Too Furious, 2003, Hitch, 2005, and The Place Beyond the Pines, 2012. Her combination of charisma and screen presence helped make her one of the most recognizable actresses of the 2000s. As of 2026, Eva Mendes is 52 years old. She remains largely retired from acting and focuses on raising her children with Ryan Gosling while managing fashion and lifestyle business projects. Although she walked away from Hollywood at the height of her fame, she continues to be admired for choosing the life she wanted rather than the one the industry expected. Enrique Iglesias as Lorenzo. Enrique Iglesias was born on May 8, 1975, in Madrid, Spain. At 28 years old, he played Lorenzo, one of El Mariachi's loyal gunslinging companions who joins the fight against corruption and violence in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Though his role was relatively small, Lorenzo became a fan favorite thanks to his charisma and action-packed scenes. Success did not shield Iglesias from personal struggles. The son of international music legend Julio Iglesias, after his parents divorced, his life changed dramatically when his grandfather was kidnapped by the Basque terrorist group ETA in 1981, forcing the family to tighten security and sending Enrique to Miami for protection. Determined to succeed on his own, he secretly recorded his first demo under the name Enrique Martinez because he did not want record executives signing him simply because of his father's reputation. Even after becoming a music superstar, he faced skepticism when he entered the film industry. Despite those doubts, Iglesias built one of the most successful music careers in Latin music history. Global hits such as Hero, Escape, Bailando, and Tonight, I'm Lovin' You sold millions of records worldwide. His achievements include multiple Grammy Awards, Latin Grammy Awards, and Billboard Music Awards, earning him the nickname the King of Latin Pop. As of 2026, Enrique Iglesias is 51 years old. He continues to enjoy enormous popularity around the world while maintaining a relatively private life with former tennis star Anna Kournikova and their children. Decades after first stepping out of his father's shadow, he remains one of the most successful Latin artists of all time. Cheech Marin as Bellini. Cheech Marin was born on July 13, 1946, in Los Angeles, California, USA. At 57 years old, he played Bellini, the quick-witted bartender and trusted local ally who helps navigate the dangerous world surrounding El Mariachi in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. His trademark humor provided brief moments of levity amid the film's violence and political intrigue. The road to success was anything but easy. During the Vietnam War era, Marin left the United States and moved to Vancouver, Canada, to avoid military conscription. Living far from home, he endured years of financial uncertainty and odd jobs before meeting Tommy Chong. Together, they formed the legendary comedy duo Cheech and Chong, becoming counterculture icons during the 1970s. Over time, he successfully expanded far beyond comedy. Marin starred in numerous Cheech and Chong films and later became known to younger audiences as the voice of Bonsai in Disney's The Lion King, 1994, and Ramon in Pixar's Cars franchise. He also earned respect as an advocate for Chicano art and culture, assembling one of the world's largest private collections of Mexican-American artwork. As of 2026, Cheech Marin is 80 years old. He remains active as an actor, author, comedian, and cultural ambassador. His career has spanned more than 5 decades, transforming him from a controversial counterculture comic into one of the most influential Latino entertainers in American history. Rubén Blades as Jorge FBI. Rubén Blades was born on July 16, 1948, in Panama City, Panama. At 55 years old, he played Jorge FBI, the determined federal agent investigating corruption and criminal conspiracies in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. His calm authority and intelligence made Jorge one of the film's most grounded and honorable characters. Blades' life has been shaped by both art and politics. In 1974, political tensions in Panama forced his family to relocate to the United States after conflicts involving his mother and the military government of General Omar Torrijos. Arriving in New York, Blades started at the bottom, working in the mailroom of Fania Records while pursuing his musical ambitions. Success eventually followed, but his political interests brought new challenges. In 1994, he ran for president of Panama, exposing himself to intense criticism, personal attacks, and political controversy. Later, he served as Panama's Minister of Tourism from 2004 to 2009, temporarily placing much of his artistic career on hold. Even while balancing politics and public service, Blades built an extraordinary entertainment career. He appeared in productions such as Predator 2, 1990, and Fear the Walking Dead, while simultaneously becoming one of the most influential figures in salsa music history. His socially conscious lyrics and innovative recordings helped redefine Latin music for generations of listeners. As of 2026, Rubén Blades is 78 years old. He continues to perform, record music, write, and participate in public discussions throughout Latin America and the United States. With more than 22 Grammy and Latin Grammy Awards, he remains one of the most celebrated artists ever to emerge from Panama. Julio Oscar Mechoso as advisor. Julio Oscar Mechoso was born on May 31, 1955, in Havana, Cuba. At 48 years old, he played advisor, the political advisor and trusted government aide who operates behind the scenes of Mexico's power structure in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Though not a leading role, his performance added credibility and depth to the film's political intrigue. Mechoso's story began with sacrifice and displacement. As a child, he left Cuba with his family and settled in Miami. Those experiences shaped his strong work ethic, but they did not protect him from Hollywood's tendency to stereotype Latino actors. Rather than become discouraged, Mechoso embraced every opportunity and earned a reputation as one of the industry's most reliable supporting actors, winning the respect of filmmakers such as Robert Rodriguez and Andy Garcia. His dedication resulted in a long list of memorable screen appearances. Audiences recognized him from Bad Boys, 1995, Jurassic Park 3, 2001, and The Legend of Zorro, 2005. While he rarely received top billing, his face became instantly familiar to moviegoers through decades of steady work across film and television. Julio Oscar Machoso died on November 25, 2017, at the age of 62 in Burbank, California. His death was caused by a sudden heart attack that shocked friends and colleagues. Though often cast in supporting roles, he left behind a respected legacy as one of Hollywood's most dependable Latino character actors. Tito Larriva as cab driver. Tito Larriva was born on April 2, 1953, in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico. At 50 years old, he played cab driver, the streetwise taxi driver who briefly crosses paths with the film's dangerous world of assassins, politicians, and drug cartels in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Though his appearance was brief, his unmistakable personality made the role memorable for fans of Robert Rodriguez's films. Larriva's early life was shaped by hardship. After moving to Texas, he grew up in tough border communities. Watching friends and neighbors fall into addiction and violence left a lasting impression on him and fueled his determination to pursue music instead. That path was far from easy. As the founder and lead singer of the Chicano rock band Tito and Tarantula, he spent years struggling outside the mainstream music industry, building a loyal following through small clubs, independent releases, and relentless touring. However, Larriva created one of the most iconic moments in cult cinema history. His band performed the haunting song After Dark during the unforgettable sequence in From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996, featuring Salma Hayek's legendary snake dance. He also appeared in films such as Desperado, 1995, From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996, and several other Rodriguez productions, becoming a familiar face within that cinematic universe. As of 2026, Tito Larriva is 73 years old. He continues to perform music, tour occasionally, and participate in film and television projects. More than 5 decades into his career, he remains a respected figure in both Chicano rock and independent filmmaking. Marco Leonardi as Fideo. Marco Leonardi was born on November 14, 1971, in Melbourne, Australia. At 32 years old, he played Fideo, one of the loyal members of El Mariachi's inner circle, joining the fight against corruption and cartel violence in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. His character represented the brotherhood and loyalty that defined much of El Mariachi's journey. Success arrived unusually early for Leonardi, bringing challenges that followed him for years. After achieving international fame as the adult Salvatore in Cinema Paradiso, 1988, he found himself carrying the weight of enormous expectations while still very young. The pressure to repeat that success often left him struggling to define his own identity as an actor. However, he never achieved the same level of stardom he enjoyed in Europe. Even so, Leonardi built a respectable international career. He earned praise for his performances in Cinema Paradiso, 1988, which won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film, and Like Water for Chocolate, 1992, one of the most successful foreign language films of its era. Throughout the following decades, he remained active in Italian cinema and television, steadily working even when the spotlight faded. As of 2026, Marco Leonardi is 55 years old. He continues to act primarily in European productions while maintaining a lower public profile than during his early fame. Although Hollywood never fully embraced him as a leading man, he remains remembered worldwide for his role in one of the most beloved international films ever made. So, that was the cast of Once Upon a Time in Mexico Then and Now in 2026. From heartbreaking tragedies and life-changing illnesses to remarkable comebacks and enduring legacies, their journeys proved to be every bit as dramatic as the film itself. Which cast member's story surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more Then and Now updates from your favorite movies and stars.